Hey everyone, it's Kristen, and today I am excited. I have with me my friend Lisa Danforth, and Lisa is an experienced caterer, 30-year entrepreneur who's passionate about mindful mixology and creating fun, flavorful, and elegant alcohol-free cocktails. Her company is called Tonic. Lisa is also a leadership and work-life well-being coach and founder of Lisa Danforth Coaching. And insider tip, here's a sneak peek. Her favorite word is no. Hey, Lisa.
Hey, how are you? I do love that two little letter word. It's so powerful.
It's a whole sentence.
It is. Absolutely. Thanks for having me. I'm super excited. A little nervous with all the questions, but that's okay. We'll roll with it and have some fun.
We are going to have some fun. And I think you've got so much to educate people on as far as and it's a big thing right now. There's a huge movement with this alcohol-free thing. And, you know, as we've talked about, it whether you're sober curious, whether you're pregnant, whether you're a recovering addict, whatever. People, first and foremost, an ally, exactly. First and foremost, just let's say this right here. It is none of your business why somebody doesn't drink.
Hallelujah.
If you go in and you know my history, you know, with my ex-husband, if somebody doesn't want to order a drink, you don't sit there and go, "Oh, are you sure?" Yes, I said no.
That's boring.
Yeah, right. Exactly. It's like, so those of you out there listening, if you're with somebody that chooses not to drink, it's none of your business, and shut your pie hole.
It's really about you're not calling someone out. For some reason, alcohol is the one drug in our community, our U.S., whatever, that there's something wrong with you if you're not drinking.
Right.
So there's this shame when we don't drink, and that just seems drink alcohol, I should say. And that's the beautiful thing about the alcohol-free movement and this mindful drinking is sober. The word sober is actually coming back into vogue. There's not a negative connotation or as much of a negative connotation because a lot of people are, I'm sober. And that doesn't mean that they had a drinking problem.
Right.
It might just be, I mean, it could be religion, right? It could be whatever it is. But that mindful drinking is truly coming back or truly taking place, which is just lovely to see.
Right. It's not
removing
prohibition.
The judgment.
Yeah, it's not prohibition, people. It's a choice. And, you know, we just came out of dry January. Well, I mean, it is April.
Seems like it.
It just feels like it. But, you know, I'm starting to see other months. What's the other? October. They've labeled October.
Sober October.
So there's.
And February was Try February or Dry February. Yeah, Dry January, Try February. July is actually a really big month for the alcohol-free sales as well because of 4th of July and summertime and all of that. It's also a really big time for the sales for non-alcoholic.
So what was your inspiration? I mean, I know your story, but my friends out in podcast land do not. So, you know, you still are a coach, but you made the decision with all of us supporting you and going, go, Lisa, go, to really dive into this. So what inspired you to create an alcohol-free bar service, which hopefully will also soon turn into a brick and mortar?
Yeah, lounge. I'm really hoping for that. That's an excellent question. And it's exciting for me, but it doesn't seem really super exciting when I tell the story. But it began in COVID when I was home alone and I was a caterer for 14 years. So I was playing around with all sorts of alcohol-free spirits and shrubs and simple syrups and all of that. And then I started to watch the alcohol rates, the consumption rates just climb, just going through the roof.
Especially with women.
Especially with women. Women are now on par with men for drinking, and that's because the alcohol companies have really targeted women for drinking. But I was watching all of that rise. I was watching depression, anxiety, domestic abuse, child abuse, neglect, all of these different stats just on the rise. And I believe that there was a direct tie to a loneliness, but also the alcohol consumption. So it just kept piquing my interest. And I kept playing around with all of these spirits and shrubs and just having fun with it for a couple of years. Then a friend of mine was like, you know, you've been pursuing this and having fun with it. Why don't you actually just take it and hold it lightly and see about starting a business? And I was like, that's a really good idea. And at that point, it literally just unfolded. I whipped together a website, and in a matter of weeks, it was amazing. And it has been such a fun journey. I've been getting such an amazing response from the community. And it's really all about building community. It's not just, just plopping this business in there, but it's about building community. And the thing is the largest barrier to growth in the communities out there in the US especially is accessibility. The UK has it ace, like they've got it all over the place. But in Vermont, there is no bottle shop. And in a lot of other places, there are no bottle shops, or a bar might have a couple of alcohol-free cocktails or a, bottle of beer or something, but it's not accessible. So for me to be able to bring it out to the community and show it to people, I do tastings so people can come in and taste the spirits before, non-alcohol, I should say, before they buy, because it's not inexpensive. It's actually a little more expensive than traditional alcohol because it takes so much more to make something that emulates the flavor and has the satiating essence to it.
So you have a mocktail right now. Let's tell us about it, and then I want you to describe it and how are you able to mimic the complexity and enjoyment of those traditional cocktails? What is going to make me say I want a $15 alcohol-free beverage over I'll just have an old fashioned? I mean, other than the alcohol piece of it, right?
And that's what I was going to say. Yeah. The alcohol piece really is it. But the thing is we want to have alternatives. And that's one of the biggest barriers also, is that there have been no alternatives. So people who don't particularly want to drink will still continue to drink because there isn't anything else out there. There hasn't been. So what I'm drinking tonight it's called a Black Velvet, and it has Pathfinder, hemp, and root, which is like an Amaro, very flavorful, very herbaceous, rich in the mouth, got wonderful mouth texture. This is called Tennyson Black Ginger. The combination of these two together, it really has that classic sort of Mad Men kind of feel cocktail. And it's got all the bitter alcohol-free bitters, orange bitters, which are great, and then a little bit of just cherry juice.
So if you're not watching this, she has bada bing cherries, y'all.
Bada bing.
Bada bing.
Gotta have the bada bing. They're absolutely delicious. So you just put these together. The beautiful thing is when you add the bitters and you add a little bit of the cherry juice, it really brings out the mouthfeel. And that's what we want to focus on making an alcohol-free cocktail. Sometimes we need to add a little bit of salt tincture, which is just 4 parts water, 1 part salt. And what that does is it creates more of a texture in your mouth, brings out that mouth feel of alcohol, because you can admit a lemonade is significantly different than, a gin and tonic type of thing, the feel of it in your mouth. You'll also find a lot of spirit alternatives that have a capsicum, a pepper type to it. So it's got that burn, so it emulates the burn of alcohol.
Interesting. Let's talk a little bit about, I know that you're very involved in the community. What has the reaction been? And I'm sure that it's gotten, I don't want to say better, but kind of better. It's more comfortable, yes. Right? Because it's such especially for people our age, so I'm going to say Gen X and boomers, right? Mm-hmm. It is such a weird concept that if I'm going to drink a mocktail, why not I just drink a cocktail? And again, I understand that and we've had this conversation before about people, have you had any resistance from, say, someone interested in having you come set up your alcohol-free bar? Are there typically also regular bars there as well? Or are you finding that most of these events that you're doing, it's all alcohol-free? Does that make sense?
So it does make total sense, right? So we can set up as a bar alone. So it's an alcohol-free bar. We are the only one that's serving. We can also set up alongside a bar itself. That's been a big opposition. I've had people have just contort their fit. You mean you'd have to have 2 bars? Look, we don't have to have 2 bars, but I can promise you that the alcohol bar does not put nearly as much time, effort, and care into creating a beautiful crafted cocktail list that's non-alcoholic, delicious, an adult cocktail. right? So yes, you can absolutely get some nice cocktails, some alcohol-free cocktails. It won't be their primary focus. It would be like going to a steakhouse and asking for, chicken marbella or whatever. It's not what they focus on. And what I do and what alcohol-free bars focus on is creating the experience so it emulates. I mean, our tagline is the ritual without the alcohol. So have I gotten pushback? Oh, hell yeah. I've gotten some pushback. I did a New Year's Eve party in Burlington on Church Street, and I had one woman walk up with completely indignant. It's all non-alcoholic. She rolled her eyes, turned on her heel, huffed, and just stormed away. I mean, it was actually funny. I was like, okay, not for you. That's okay. Yeah. I'm cool with that. And I have most of the people that have come up to our bar have been super excited to try it, or, oh my gosh, I've been sober for 3 years. I've been sober for 9 years. I've been sober for 3 weeks. And they're so excited at the opportunity to have an option, have an alcohol-free, flavorful cocktail. Couple of people have been like, oh, it's alcohol free. I'm like, just try it. You can throw it out. You can spit it out. Just try it. Every single one of them has been like, this is good. And almost all of them came back for a second. So, the thing is being open-minded to it. Try it. The beautiful thing, and I'm going to go down another little tangent here. The beautiful thing is, yes, we do. There's alcohol-free bourbons and gin and tequilas. Those are alcohol substitutes. They're trying to emulate bourbon, gin, tequila, right? What I see doing really well, and those are doing really well, but what I see doing really well are the alcohol-free alternatives. So they're not trying to compartmentalize them and put them into a box. Like, it doesn't taste like bourbon. I'm like, well, it's not bourbon. It is a spirit, an alcohol-free spirit that's trying to emulate bourbon. And they've done a really great job. I have one here that is my favorite. It's Kentucky 74. It's spiritless. It's a woman-owned company, which I always love to promote, a woman-owned company. Sure. It is a really nice bourbon. It smells like bourbon, alcohol-free, obviously. But it's not. It's zero alcohol. So have I had pushback? 100%. But for the most part, people have really softened once they try it and realize you can truly have a sophisticated, delicious, alcohol-free drink.
Well, and I just imagine that the more popular the move becomes, that's why I think it's such a great idea for you to focus all your efforts on it. Is you're going to be you're at the beginning of kind of a revolution because the millennials and Gen Z are not. I mean, they're fine. I mean. Okay, some of them are more into edibles, but okay, that's fine.
California sober.
Exactly, California sober. And, but they still, I know when my oldest daughter goes out and she doesn't want to drink, she's stuck with sucking on tonic water. And right. Because so many...
Club soda with a splash of cranberry.
Whatever. And because going back to how people kind of poo-poo if you're not drinking, and it's but she doesn't want to drink water. So these are great alternatives. And you and I had a conversation about just yesterday, and something that was able to, in our professional world, that I was able to pass along, and it was very well received the way I did it.
Awesome.
Like you said, profit over people, and which is establishments, restaurants, bars, etc., need to stop making it an afterthought and incorporate it into their drink menu, so it doesn't. You've already said, well, are you sure you're not drinking? So people that aren't drinking, they don't want to have that additional, beep,
stigma,
beep, not drinking. So, you don't want to have a separate menu, I guess is where I'm going, and that you were telling me about. And I was just recently in a place where it was just completely woven in.
When it's woven in, people feel very comfortable because they're ordering like they would order a black velvet. And they would know that it's alcohol-free, and it comes and it looks like it. Unfortunately, again, our society, there's something wrong with people if they're not drinking alcohol. So if you look at the statistics, there's a fairly high percentage of people, that percentage is coming down over the last year or two, that will continue to drink because they're afraid of losing their community, their friends if they stop drinking. They peer pressure to not drink, all of that. So they're actually drinking even though they don't want to because of fear of whatever it may be, which I just think is so sad. And there have been reports or, studies done on the bullying. Oh, come on, it's only a drink. Oh, man up, have a drink. So that gets people staying drinking even though they don't want to, because they're afraid of removing themselves from their community and loneliness, which I think is terribly sad. And that's why with alcohol free, it is about, we talk about inclusion. This is exactly what is inclusion, right? Being able to have an alternative that doesn't make you stand out. And unfortunately, even today's day and age, we still want to fit in, right?
Sure.
We don't want to stand out like a sore thumb when everyone else is drinking and we've got a plastic water bottle because that's all they've got for you.
Right. And I love water. I drink water all day long, but if I'm out with my friends, I don't want another water.
Mm-hmm.
And, I love how you've crafted these recipes, because even in the said conversation that I had yesterday, the person was like, oh yeah, we'll just have regular drinks and just take the alcohol out of it. I'm like, no, because now your alcohol-free margarita is some damn sweet and sour sauce.
Well, it's also a virgin, right? What adult wants to say, I'd like a virgin margarita,
right.
please?
Yes.
That just, you're not going to do it. You're going to order water. And what you were saying before, you're leaving money on the table.
As business owners, absolutely.
There's so many benefits for the customer, but for you as a business owner, you don't need to do that. You don't need to add alcohol free, but you are leaving a significant amount of money on the table.
Yeah, because somebody will buy a $12 mocktail, or they will, if they don't have it, they will take a $0 glass of water. And if that's what we're none of us are in business to give things away, right? We're in business to make a profit. I mean, we really are. So how have you seen, and we kind of touched on this already, in everything that you've done with tonic, are you starting to see more shift in the acceptability and the interest? And I would say some of your pop-up shops, that's probably been a great opportunity for you to really educate, because I've seen some of the pictures and it looks like people are just like, oh my God, I had no idea.
Yeah, that's exactly. They're coming in and they're tasting. And the non-alcoholic movement is where the vegan movement was, 6, 8, 10 years ago. Like, oh, it's vegan, it's going to suck, right? We are starting to move past that. And what I love about doing these pop-ups is I have 12, 15 bottles of spirits open that you can actually taste. So when people can come in and they can actually taste it and they're like, damn, that's good. And there's a few, they like the drink I'm drinking tonight. I can actually mix that up. Not exact, because I don't always have the cherry juice, but they can get an idea of the mixture of it. So they were like, this is really satiating. Or I did a Boulevardier for someone and I just mixed the 3 different. So Boulevardier is bourbon, sweet vermouth, and like a Campari. Or a Negroni, you would just substitute bourbon for gin. And I put those 3 together in a little cup, and they bought all 3 of the bottles at $38 to $40 a piece, because it's the ritual without the alcohol that satiated their need for just some, that ritual. And that ritual is often at the end of the day to delineate between work and home. We pour that glass of wine, we have that gin and tonic or whatever it is. So we can still continue that habit, that ritual, but it doesn't have to affect our energy level, our clarity level, our relationships, any of it.
Right. And if you're just dropping in, I'm talking with Lisa Danforth, who is the alcohol-free founder, the founder of the alcohol-free tonic mobile bar, which will be a brick and mortar at some point. So tell me, what are some of the most surprising or unique ingredients you have that you use in your syrups, in your shrubs?
Oh, I've made a coffee syrup, which was crazy tasty.
Did it become an espresso martini?
Yes, so good. I mean, so very good. And multiple other things. I've had a hard time finding a mezcal that I can have a good flavor, but it doesn't have quite the smokiness that I want. So I have made a simple syrup, which is equal parts sugar and water, and I add in, I always butcher this. It's like lapsang, shusang, whatever it is, that really smoky tea. So I'll throw a tablespoon into that, to the simple syrup, let it just cool down for an hour or 2, strain it. And now I have this beautiful smokiness that I can add a teaspoon to a cocktail, like a Maximilian Affair, which is just a lovely mezcal with an elderflower liqueur. So good. But you've got that smokiness to it, which is just amazing. I've made some made a tincture with Szechuan peppers, which is it's got the kick to it. So you just need a couple of drops. It's almost like a bitter. balsamic vinegar, strawberry, and mint shrub. Oh,
Yum.
it's so tasty. Oh, another one. A toasted sesame seed rice wine vinegar shrub. Oh my gosh, I serve that with fresh squeezed cucumber juice and club soda. You would be blown away at the flavor. I did that at an event a few weeks ago, and every bright, beautiful green, and you put a cucumber in as a garnish. So good. You just toast the sesame seeds, add it to the vinegar and the sugar and a touch of salt, let it cool, blend it, and then you put it through a sieve to take out any of the particles, and you've got the toasted sesame seed rice wine vinegar shrub. Crazy tasty.
So tell us exactly what a shrub is. Most of us know what
Okay,
syrup is, like a simple
this is
syrup.
true.
Like
Yeah.
I've infused like rosemary syrup for cocktails, etc. So, and every year, as soon as my mint comes in, I make a mint infused simple syrup for mojitos. But what is a shrub?
Yeah. So a shrub is how they used to preserve their fruits and even veggies years ago. So it is basically this similar quantities of sugar and vinegar. I like to use, for the most part, vinegar with the mother in it. So it's got the natural mother to it. I don't know how to explain that, but it's equal parts sugar, vinegar, and then you can put any type of fruit, herb, spice, whatever. I do a wonderful lemon cucumber shrub, which is crazy tasty. You peel 3 lemons, chop up some cucumbers. I put them in slices, mix it in with the sugar and the vinegar, and leave it on the counter for 24 hours. Then you just strain it, and you've got the most delicious little sweet tart pickles that you can just use. But then the shrub is great with just simply club soda, or you could put it in a tonic or mix it with any type of spirit or whatnot. It's
Is
super easy and super
is the
tasty.
liquid considered the shrub, or is it the fruits and the things of that nature? Is that considered?
That's an excellent question. What I think is that the shrub is what you're drinking.
Okay.
Right. So they used to preserve the fruits and the veggies and whatnot in the vinegar and the sugar, but the shrub is what you drink. I could be very wrong on that. So you might get 100 people like, she's wrong.
Let them come
That's
at
what
me.
I know.
Let them.
I'm sticking
let
with it.
them try
Yeah,
and come at
bring
me.
it.
I don't care. So how are you and Tonic educating folks as far as making them feel more welcome and accessible? Do you? And again, we touched on this a little bit with some of the events, but do you find most of the people that are coming up to you already have experienced alcohol-free libations, or are you having to do as much education as you are mixology?
Education is a huge component of it because it's not, like I said, it's not readily available around here. So people might have ordered something, or they might see something, or they might have tasted something in a cocktail at a restaurant. But it's really education and talking about the mouthfeel and adding a salt tincture, and why wine that has some effervescence to it actually has more of the mouthfeel of traditional wine. So that just tastes so much better than a flat wine, because alcohol-free wines still have a long way to go. They've come a long way. I have found some really tasty wines. I found a great red wine. It's a Shorley. It's called Surely Shorley Red Blend. Super simple. Got a very light effervescence. Does not taste grapey. It is not that most delicious Pinot Noir, but it's still satiating. And then Sauvy Sparkling White is delicious. So that's sparkling. So when I can educate people that why one might taste better over the other is often because of the sparkle. You can also add a little bit of aromatic bitters to your alcohol-free, if you want to keep it alcohol-free, but a couple dashes of alcohol-free bitters to a red wine, because the red wines are the ones that are lagging the most behind, and something about it fills it out, softens the edges to it, and it makes it quite delicious.
It's been a long time since I've tried an alcohol-free wine. I think I was probably pregnant, and I think it was free, FRE, and I was like, nope. Not even.
Oh yeah. Oh,
not even worth it. Yeah, I was like, no.
I have dumped a lot of spirits too. I mean, for 2 years I was doing this, just playing around with it, and I'd get something in. I'm like, that is awful, and it was $40, and I don't feel the need to drink it because it was.
And I'm an adult.
You know, I get it.
And I'm an adult, and
right.
I don't have to. Yeah, it's something I'm trying to teach my girls. It's like if it serves you no purpose, it doesn't matter how much you've already spent the money. It's gone.
Right. So with the pop-up bottle shops, I have a very curated list that I have been building over the last 3 years. So people can, and I've explained, I've dumped a lot of spirits out there. And my taste isn't for everyone, but for the most part, people like a majority of what they're tasting.
Well,
It might just be that they don't like the flavor of something specifically.
and for me, I truly do enjoy the taste, right? So if I could find so if I'm not going to waste my time and my energy on an alcohol-free wine. I'm just not. Like you said, they're not there yet. If I am, I'm looking for more of those craft cocktails because it's the experience of it, right?
Exactly.
And I love my wine. That's, and I love a good cocktail, but I'm not going to sit there and pound 4 old fashions.
No.
I'm going to have old fashioned, right? So, if there is a true classic, alcohol-free version of it, I'm totally down for trying that. 100%.
Yeah, I have a really great recipe. I'll share it with you.
Okay, cool. Speaking of recipes, how many have you come up with so far? Would you say?
Oh my gosh, a lot. I will also say a lot of the spirit companies have recipes on their websites. So I am not a bartender. I'm a caterer. I do food. I have no experience in bartending whatsoever.
Actually, you are a bartender. What you're not is
I am a bartender.
You're not a mixologist.
Mixologist, exactly.
Which is one of the reasons why I can't go. Even if I do want to get like a second job just to get out of the house, I'm like, I'm not a mixologist. I was a bartender.
Right, and you'd need a good bartender. But for me, for the most part, and it's what I did when I had my food catering for 14 years, is I'd find a recipe and then I'd tweak it to the way that I'd like it. Like, I don't like that flavor. I'm going to add this flavor and play around with it. But almost all of the spirits, when you go to their websites, they have recipes, which, excuse me, I love because people are like, what do I do with this? I'm like, just go to the website. They've got all these amazing recipes. I actually go onto Pinterest and I collect all sorts of classic recipes. If I have the ingredients, like I have an elderflower liqueur, so I can make all sorts of delicious things that have like a Saint Germain. It's delicious. Absolutely delicious. So when you finally find some liqueurs, some alcohol-free spirits, spirit alternatives that you like, just start looking for recipes that have those ingredients in it, just traditional recipes.
Have you found your favorites yet, or are you really trying all sorts of different vendors?
I have a few favorites, but there's still so many out there. I mean, I'm a small company. I would love to order them all in, but it's too much. I love Pathfinder. That is one of our most popular ones. The Pathfinder, 2 ounces of Pathfinder, half of an ounce of lemon juice, 3 or 4 ounces of ginger beer. Super simple, crazy tasty. The Maximilian Affair, which has the mezcal, the elderflower liqueur. It's got some orange liqueur in it. Really crazy tasty. Amethyst blueberry ginger. There's a cocktail that they have on their website that's called Sweet Caroline, and it's a yummy, yummy spirit. Actually, I don't have any. I'm out right now. But that with an elderberry shrub, which is from a company called Sweets, if you can find that. Sweets Elderberry Shrub. They're a woman-owned company from down south. Oh, so good. So 2 ounces of the amethyst, half of an ounce of lime juice, half of an ounce of the elderberry shrub. Mix that up, top it with ginger beer. You would not know it's not alcohol-free.
That's amazing.
That it is alcohol-free.
Where do you see the alcohol-free beverage industry heading, and what innovations are you excited about?
Where do I see it heading? That is interesting. So the spirits are now being sold, which is wonderful, but they're being sold in Target and Walmart and all of this. So
I was going to ask because here in North Carolina, we're state supported, right? So you have to go to the liquor store. Whereas like in, like Chicago, in a lot of your other big areas, it's folded into your grocery store.
But alcohol-free, it's just like buying tea or kombucha.
Right. Well, and I'll have to look the next time I go to a Target because they sell beer and wine at our Target. So I would imagine, so I'm going to have to look next time I go. Okay. So I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
So there are I know someone who's in Austin, there's a Walmart or a Target that has just a crazy extensive array of alcohol free, which is wonderful because it's getting them out there into the community, right? It's also hurting the small local shops that were the ones that started started from scratch, brought it to the community. And what they're seeing, unfortunately, is a lot of people coming in and tasting for free and then going to Walmart and Target or wherever to buy the bottles. So I've seen a couple of businesses go out of business. It's just because it's hard. The margins are super small. When I do my pop-ups, I do it because I love bringing it to the community. The margins are super small. So you've got to be able to have a community. And that's one of the things with Vermont. We have less than 650,000 people in the entire state, right? So being the first is important, because not to be the first, but because they're really, with so few people in the state, and there's really only one large city, it can only handle maybe one, possibly two alcohol-free bars right now. I think until the movement really starts taking over and people are totally set for it. But that's where I kind of see some things going on within the alcohol-free. A lot of right now the RTDs, the ready to drinks, are just blasting out of the water, the cans, because they're super easy.
Sure.
They're, the younger generation will just grab them. Hop water, which has a water, but it has that hoppy beer, hoppy essence to it, is like one of the leading things out there right now. Again, wine is starting to pick up because the flavors are getting better. And I find that the alcohol-free alternatives, rather than the substitutes, which substituting vodka and gin, the alternatives are actually doing better for me, because people aren't compartmentalizing them and saying it should taste like this. Right.
But you're not going to do a shot of alcohol-free bourbon.
They do. I've been seeing it in some bars. I'm like, I don't really get that. But but it's the ritual, right? It's the ritual without the alcohol, so they can just do a shot, and it's
maybe I should have used tequila as a better reference on doing shots, because nothing good happens once shots of tequila start. Nothing. I've told all my kids that. Absolutely nothing good happens once tequila is involved. Nothing. Mm-mm. I don't care what you can do. So look,
I make it a crazy tasty blackberry jalapeno margarita. I make my own blackberry jalapeno simple syrup, fresh squeezed lime juice, tequila, orange sec. So good. Everyone that I've served that to has been like, "This is alcohol free." I'm like, "Yep." So good.
So we're closing in on the end, believe it or not, and you didn't think we could get through all those questions, but I've got one more that I think it's I think it's appropriate to end with, considering how we started. What advice would you give to someone who wants to be more mindful about their alcohol consumption?
That's an excellent question, and it really is different for absolutely every person, right? So I have found someone who could be a raging alcoholic can just be like, I'm quitting, and they can pick up an alcohol-free beer and be fine. I've seen people who, had an issue with alcohol, and they just stay away from it because everything is a trigger. So for the person that wants to be more mindful, I would say, talk to someone else about it. So that accountability partner so you can check in, be like, you know what, we're not drinking this week. Hey, and have that. I think accountability is key. If that works for you and you have that agreement that it's non-judgmental, it's just, we will often let ourselves down, but we won't let other people down. So having that little bit of accountability really works. Have something in mind that you want to drink. So if you are going somewhere and you know that they don't have alcohol free, I have these cans of wine and I sell a lot of them at the bottle shop, because I'm like, if you're going somewhere, you can just pop one in your bag and you can just pull it out.
That's at a great idea. That's a great tip.
It is. Right. So you want to make it easy. You want to make the choice simple. You want to think ahead and say, I'm not drinking tonight. If they don't have an alcohol-free cocktail, I'm going to have X. Right. So just be clear on how you want to feel. I'm going to go into my coaching here. That time and consistency piece. We value the present more than we value the future. So we value the present. The reward is in the moment. We value the present in that we get to be a part of everything and we're feeling really good. Screw it. I'll do it tomorrow. Right. And be a part of everything that's going on. But the cost is in the future. When you wake up the next morning, you're like, shit, I can't believe I just did that again. Right. So when we can switch that around and have sort of the cost in the moment of, okay, I need to plan ahead. It might be uncomfortable, but if someone is asking me, I don't need to answer. Right. So you've got a plan in mind of who you need to be in order to stand in your ground, stand in your authenticity, and be unapologetic in your choices. And when you do that, it is your responsibility to set those boundaries, to be clear, direct, and respectful. it is not your responsibility how it lands for the other person. So if you just say, I'm not drinking, and they ask why, you can just say, I'm not drinking, and then you zip it. You don't get into a conversation with them. I personally would just look them right straight in the eye and just stand there, right? I want the discomfort. If you have the tenacity to,
Right.
why aren't you drinking? What's wrong with you? I get to stand there in my confidence, and everything that's going on is about them. It's not about you. And that's what we get hooked by is, everybody's looking at me. No, they're actually, it's the other person.
It's making them uncomfortable.
And that's okay.
Yeah, it is okay.
Right.
That's
and what happens is we especially as women, we don't want the other, oh my gosh, the other person's uncomfortable. Well, so then you engage in the conversation. Leave it. Let it land on the floor. And that is a beautiful lesson for the other person.
Well, I'm hoping that, like we talked earlier, that we're starting to get away from that a little bit as far as being, people are like, okay, cool, whatever. But it's like, why is it so important to you? Why is my not drinking so important to you?
Making you so uncomfortable.
Right.
And you know why? Because it highlights, more than likely, they know that they are in that gray area or they're drinking too much, and it makes them uncomfortable. So that when we can get the people around us doing something that we know is not healthy, I mean, it's toxic. It is toxic. I don't go ranting and raving and preaching. I still drink myself. I don't drink a lot, but I still drink, right? So I'm not like it's toxic, it's bad. It's mindful drinking. So if you've been drinking a 12-pack a night and you cut it back to 6 a night, that is mindful drinking. And then you can cut it back to 3, and then you can cut it back to 1, right? Or maybe you stay at 3 and that's where you want to stay. When you can release the judgment, the pressure, the guilt, the shame, it allows you to step into your authentic self and be who you want to be unapologetically, right? And if 2 beers a night is good for you, good, then do it, right? But that judgment and that shame on yourself is only going to make you feel like shit and go back into drinking.
Yeah.
So do it in a way that supports you to be sustainable in it.
Right. It's like when somebody needs to go on a diet and they go, I'm not eating anything but chicken and rice. I'm like, no, don't do that. You're going to fail.
You're going to fail.
It's not sustainable.
And that's why I still drink. I haven't had a drink for a month. But if I want to drink, I have learned to pause. You know what? It's 5 o'clock. It's because it's that transition or whatever it is. I'm like, you know what? 6 o'clock rolls around. I still want it. I'll have a drink.
Right. And it's true. It's scientifically proven. Like your body, it completely changes your body chemistry. And your body knows that at 5 o'clock, it's time. Let's go. And that's why it's just
habit.
It's crazy how
it is more habit than anything that you believe.
Yeah. So this has been such a great conversation. I really, really appreciate it. And I'm going to put everything in the show notes on how people can find you. And once I get all of the stuff, I will send you graphics to share and share with everyone. But so much good information and such a great positive spin on it. Not really even a spin. It's just there are going to be a lot of people that learn a lot from this particular episode. So I really appreciate you spending time with me. And until next time, I will talk to you guys later. As the saying goes, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. And that's a wrap for this week's episode. A big thanks to my guests for sharing their story and to you for listening. Don't forget to share the show with your friends and spread the words. And if you'd like to be a guest on the show, the link is in the show notes. Till next time, cheers.